Podcast. Midnight Paco. Midnight Paco Podcast. Midnight Paco Podcast.
Yeah, trucker, blast trucker. Hey, life. Also Puerto Rican. Ladies and gentlemen, Cool Steve Jackson.
Turn it up. There we go. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Midnight Paco Podcast. As always, you can follow me at Justin Fuller Comedy on Instagram.
I am the _great_COREE. That's where you can find me, or you can follow us both at the Midnight Paco Podcast on Instagram.
That's right.
As you can see,
whoa.
in addition to this being
Whoa.
our 100th episode,
Whoa.
thank you for everybody that was tuning in for all
Yes.
100 episodes. We have a very special guest in the house.
Special guest.
Yo, this brother is what I consider one of the flames in Cleveland, man. One is torching Cleveland. Like one of the people that I was saying, like, look, when I told Godfrey put some respect on our name in Cleveland.
See, he's always doing it. It's like the 6th time.
Look, I'm telling you, look, we got the heat here in Cleveland. You know, with myself, Justin Fuller, and this guy right here, man. I watched this dude. Give it up for our special guest. This my man. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Where they can find you at?
Desmond Turner, and you can find me on Instagram at Turner House Productions, or you can follow me or add me as a friend on Facebook, Desmond Turner.
That's right. Welcome
Desmond Turner.
Thank you,
to the
guys.
Midnight
Thank you all
Paco
for having me.
Podcast
Yeah,
Studios. 100th episode, baby.
100th episode, we got Desmond Turner.
Appreciate you being in the crib.
I'm glad to be here for the big 100, man.
Absolutely, man. Sheesh.
Episode of the Midnight Paco Podcast brought to you in part by the Acumen Paralegal Services. Help you help yourself the legal way. The services that they offer is they help with documents that need to be typed, guardianships, probate, divorce, wills and trust, complaints, business organization, financial planning, and legal research and writing. Go ahead and give them a call at 216-727-0049 or 216-456-2000. Michelle White will get you right.
Hey, man. First off, I met Desmond on the comic book strip, right?
Yep.
That's right. That was
Shout out to
CC
CC
and Javon Bates.
Javon Bates.
That's
Shout
right.
out to them. Look, you know what? I got a little something right here. Let's go ahead and clink it up right quick.
Oh, yes.
Everybody got
let's do
something. It's the
that.
100th episode.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm reaching over.
Oh, yeah.
Get it.
Yeah, Javon Bates, man. Not only does he put on shows, he does movies also.
Movies.
And you actually are in one of them.
I'm in one of them. Coming out
Congrats,
October 13th, baby.
Yeah.
Thank
Shout
you,
out.
sir.
Can you say the name of it?
Yeah, it's Maxie's Revenge, the last song, Maxie's Revenge. It's
Yeah.
a mafia movie based in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
I play one of the mob bosses. You know what I'm
What?
saying?
I thought you was a goon.
I started as a goon,
And you got promoted.
and I got promoted with lines and such. And
Not with that weak beard, though. You had a bigger
no,
beard.
I had a bigger beard. Yeah,
Yeah, man, you can't
I had
be
my
my boss with
I
that
had
little
my
beard,
I had my
man.
good beard. I trimmed this down recently, but yeah, man. And we did the photo shoot for the poster. I posted a reel on my story. You know, I'll put it on the reels too, so it's there indefinitely. But yeah, it was fun, man. It was a good experience. But you know, it ain't about me. It was about
It's
the
all
show.
about Mr.
It was
Turner
about
right
the
here.
show we performed at, and that's
y'all
where
for
I
having me.
met this young man. Speaking of which, how old are you, sir?
30 years old.
30 years old.
Years
Shit.
old.
I remember 30.
30. I just turned 30 in May.
I was May what?
Ooh.
May 16th.
Okay, my
You a
sister's.
Taurus?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
My dad's was a
Mine's
Taurus.
April 25th, but I'm still a Taurus, baby. That's
There
what
we
I'm
go,
talking
Taurus
about.
gang.
Yeah. My sister's is May 29th.
Let them have their shine. You know,
Yeah.
the time of Leo is now and everything. It's okay. You know,
So you're 30, okay, and so I met you, what, 2 years ago, right? Year ago?
Yep. It was, I think, 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was about to. I think it was the first year I was in comedy. Is what it was. So that was my first year. How long have you been doing it?
For 7 years.
7 years.
So I started in 2016.
Okay, 2016.
April of 2016.
Oh shit! What day?
April 27th.
Oh, damn! 2 days after my birthday,
That was
baby.
my very first show. Yeah.
Okay.
So you know, I don't know if you're anything like me, but I mean I kind of put things in like perspective. Like my freshman class, I kind of know who started with me a little bit, like from the area we was performing in, because we started at the Funny Stop.
Yeah.
Can you just name some of the names that you consider like your class that you were performing with, that you started with?
What's very odd about this is one lady from my class, I remember her name was like Shelby. I can't remember her last name. Forgive me if you ever see this. But I know she's based out of Michigan. So
Okay.
I think Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
But what I started is the workshop at the Cleveland Improv.
Dope.
So
Okay.
a lot of those people aren't really doing stand up much anymore that I've seen. I know so I know Shelby and I know Marty Krieger. He does it every now and then and stuff like that. I haven't seen Marty perform lately, so I don't know if I'm putting any pressure on him to
Right.
be performing shows. And there was another guy named Darnell Stokes. He was doing it, but I don't know if he's doing it anymore. So it's not really many people like in my class that I remember.
So anybody that was like hitting the same clubs you was doing, like that you know are still performing right now? Because I can name a few that sort of started with us.
No. Well, actually, I do know one, which is John Armstrong.
Okay.
Shout out to John
Shout out to
Armstrong.
John Armstrong.
Yeah, shout out to
Okay.
John. Word.
Me and John started around the same time. I can't remember the first show that me and him did together, but I do know when I did a show with John Armstrong, we clicked like that.
Okay.
Both of us have autistic sons. And
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
So me and him kind of clicked like that, and we were cool. So he's one person. He didn't do the workshop with me, though.
Okay. No. It's just to me.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's just this just starting class. Like you
Yeah.
know.
So he started with me, and then shortly after was CeCe Bullock.
Okay.
Shout out to CeCe.
CeCe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to CeCe.
And that's how I feel with like maybe like who's tearing it up right now is Tyrone.
Right.
Even though we was a little bit Tyrone Gang. Shout out to Tyrone Gang.
Gang. Shout out
Like
to
look, I mean, we started like a little bit before Tyrone.
Yeah.
And he always give me credit for like putting him on
Yeah.
like his first show.
Yeah.
And I thank him for that.
Right.
And even if I don't do anything else, I'm gonna stick my chest out, but like, yeah, I put Tyrone on his first show, you know, but because Tyrone's a beast.
Yeah,
but that was all Roselle. So
That was Roselle,
So shout out to Roselle.
but
you know,
it was
for-
like, you know, yeah, it was Roselle.
yeah.
Shout out to Roselle
Yep.
Lamar.
I
But
mean, yeah, it was.
it was me talking to you know you and
Yeah.
I'm like, look, yeah, oh yeah, you do comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
see if you can get on, baby.
God
Like,
damn,
yeah,
yeah.
man,
Oh,
come on,
100%.
man, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
100%.
I get it, but you know, but
I'm
back,
just saying,
back to you, man.
yeah.
It's like I'm a student of comedy,
Yeah. Me too.
and Jay will tell you like I was like, so when he told me who was all on the bill,
Mm-hmm.
I instantly looked you up.
Right.
Because that's what I do. I be like, shit. And I reached out to you. You played my room.
Absolutely. Fun time. It was a
Right.
Fun time.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. But
Absolutely.
you
Shout
played
out
my
to
room. But
grown-ups.
I wish that I could have, you know, had you on as a, you know, one of my
Feet.
scheduled performers.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Absolutely.
But yeah, you came and you did well, man. It's like, I don't know. I always like when I reached out to you, we had a conversation on the phone. I mean, kudos to that. You know, he's a down to earth guy, but this dude been doing work. He been putting in work.
I mean, work.
I mean, he worked. He traveled. He been with big names. He tore up stages. It's like he played places that's on my bucket list.
Right. Right.
I mean, if y'all don't know who Desmond Turner is, look this brother up. Go on. They can find you on YouTube, right?
Yes, you can find me on YouTube. It's Turner House Productions on YouTube as well. And I don't post most of my stand up.
Right.
So
yeah.
If you want to see some of my stand up,
but why don't you?
Because I have this thing.
I'll tell you what. Hold on, real quick. Because if you're posting on Instagram and everything else and on TikTok, you might as well put it on YouTube because they have shorts.
Yeah.
So as long as you can edit, you know how to edit.
Yeah.
We can get into that too.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. So why don't you?
So you're right. I should post on the shorts. So what I started doing is I would post, as y'all seen, I post little small clips of my stand-up, maybe 30 seconds to a minute.
Right.
To try to get people to come out and stuff. So I don't post any full sets except for maybe like my Laugh Factory set.
Okay.
Which that I was like after I performed at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood.
What? Hold on.
They do it about.
He gonna casually just drop.
Look, first of all, let me just say this. Let me just say this. Look, and I told people when I had people on the show, like,
right.
Look, you know, like after I used to host a show at Grown Ups. It was a little bar.
Yeah. And
people used to come through. And the owners used to come to me like, yeah, we got to have him again and this, that, and other. And I'm like, look, yeah, but some people we ain't going to have again. Like, you know, like certain people is like, these are major touring comics.
Right,
and they coming through. And I would like to say they only coming through because they doing it out of love for me because I asked them to.
Right.
But you ain't going to see these people again. Like, they not going to just be, oh, what you doing? Come on up to Grown Up. No, these cats is touring. This brother been touring.
Right.
I mean, he naming all my bucket list places to tour. You know, I'm only in the game like a little bit over 2 years. This cat is heavy to me. He's heavy. He's been at places. He's worked with people. He's very modest. As you can see, he's modest.
Yeah, he just trying. He just thinks he's casual shit.
He's casual and shit. He's like, yeah, I was at the Laugh Factory.
In Hollywood, you know.
Like I performed at the Apollo, at the Comedy Store, and yeah, you know.
But that's dope. So
it was great.
You posted that whole. So do you still do that whole bit?
I do some of it.
Okay,
so
good.
What I was doing after I performed there is I started because they only allowed you a 3-minute set.
Okay, yeah.
So what I started doing is I was like, well, I'm just going to record it for myself.
Right.
And then I'll sell it. So that's what I did. And
okay.
I just was selling it for $5 and stuff like that just because.
So hold on. Ooh, how were you able to sell your set for $5?
So what I did was I didn't post it publicly or anything like that. I had the video on my phone.
Okay.
So I announced that I was selling it for $5, posted on Instagram, Facebook, and stuff like that.
Look at you.
And if you Venmo'd me or if you PayPal me the $5, then I send you the set directly.
Dope.
Entrepreneur.
So, right?
Yeah. And so people were sending me the money, and then I just kept sending them the set back, and they would watch it. And I said, give your honest critique on it, whatever you want. And I got mostly good feedback on it.
Okay.
So that's what I did as far as that.
Okay, dope.
So I just learned, I was like, maybe I shouldn't post my full thing on there.
Yeah.
Unless I'm going to do like a special or it's material that I'm just probably not going to use again.
Right. Yeah. But it's tough because it's like, so speaking of specials, so how much material do you have as far as like, you could do like an hour?
I can do close to an hour.
Okay.
But see, my issue is I want an hour to be completely funny all the way through.
Yeah.
So sometimes sometimes, during the hour you'll have those, which I also don't mind this either. Sometimes during the hour you'll have those parts during the special where you're just kind of talking and telling real stuff, which I don't mind doing that at all.
Yeah.
But I also want to make sure my hour is good.
Right.
So basically, like on an hour special, let's just talk about that. Let's just break down like the majority of the hour specials.
Yeah.
The majority of the hour specials we see are really not actually hour specials.
45 minutes.
45 minutes, maybe even 30, because some of it is like just like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Right.
Showing you where you from.
Yeah.
Where you come from, how you grew up.
Yep.
Your experiences. You talking about yourself, maybe visiting your old high school or something like that, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And just people just talking about their experience through the, how they enjoyed the show, and then you got your material and things like that. You've been doing comedy for how long?
7 years.
7 years. And this brother 30 years old, 7 years.
Right. Yeah.
That's impressive. Who were some of your comedic influences coming up? Like at what point or who did you watch and you said I wanted to do comedy? Like who were some of your comedic, before you even start doing comedy, who were some of your comedic influences?
Martin Lawrence.
Okay.
That's a
good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
So I was born in 1993.
That's so God.
So,
God.
So the Martin Show came out in 92.
I was supposed to graduate in 93, but go ahead.
I graduated in
neither here nor there.
96, baby.
Go ahead.
I was born in 93. The Martin Show came out in 92. So from what I remember as a kid is watching Martin week in and week out. And then once it just became in syndication, I'm watching it every single day.
First of all, let me just say this. When Martin came out, I was in high school. When Martin came out, I think he came on at like 8 or 8:30.
Yep.
The streets was clear. True story. The streets was clear. People was in the house watching Martin. The streets was clear. When Martin came on, the streets was clear because they was watching Martin. They would go in and watch Martin, and then after Martin went on to the other scheduled activity. Like everybody that was out active during that time, like young, my age, it was in the house watching Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And he had some iconic characters and moments. Shout out to Martin Lawrence.
Yeah,
to me, he's a GOAT of my lifetime. Shout out to Martin
Lawrence.
He's
definitely one of the GOATs of my lifetime. All the movies I've seen him in.
Movies, his shows, his characters, and everything.
And his comedy. I mean, the Def Jam. Come on, man.
Yeah. One of the things I noticed about one of Martin Lawrence, his show, he took like recipes from other shows before him that worked. Like him and Pam getting into it.
Yep.
Was like a new version of Fred and Esther. Martin kicking people out of his apartment. Get to stepping. George Jefferson. George Jefferson was always kicking people out. Right. He took episodes. He took like special.
You see his memory? I tell you, he was a fuck. It's his goddamn superpower.
It's funny because when Martin, and when I was in elementary school, it was this girl in my class, right? And I would watch Martin every day and study the jokes that he used on Pam so I could use them in school. So I'm like writing them down on my hand. Like when anything he called her, I'm like, let me just write down a certain part that make me remember this joke. And I was trying to use those jokes in school. So he was like really the first comedian that I saw that I was like, man, this guy's hilarious. And then it just helped even better because he was hosting Def Comedy Jam. We had a lot of Def Comedy Jam tapes.
Right.
So not only am I watching him on the TV show, but I'm watching him come out and kill the crowd every segment on Def Comedy Jam.
Every time.
Then introducing new comedians and stuff.
Right.
Another thing, like, I wanted to, give Martin his flowers. To me, like for all the other shows in Nickelodeon and Walt Disney, like they took from Martin. This is what they took from Martin. The flared nostrils,
You can pour it up there if you
Yeah.
want. The flared nostrils.
Yeah, the flared nostrils, the little underbite, the little face that they made, like when he was like, "Excuse me," and he had his nostrils and the underbite flared and shit. They took, he changed that face for comedy. He did that, I'm observing.
Right. As far as the look.
As far as that look, that flared nostril and that little that face, that everybody from Disney to Nickelodeon, That's So Raven, Orlando Brown, all those cats under him. Even Steven, what's my man's name? Played in Transformers. Even Steven, white boy.
Shia
LaBeouf. He used that technique, the flared nostrils and that face that Martin did when he was like, like excuse me, and flared his nostrils and did it. They used that. Hey, I ain't seen that until Martin did it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I want to give props where props is due. He changed the game for comedy in that way. I mean, even if you feel like if that's a little part, Martin is a GOAT in that way.
He's in some of my all-time movies, Boomerang, and then Bad Boys. Bad Boys, and
all that stuff. Martin changed the game. He changed.
I was the Martin. I was the Martin character, basically, because me and my buddy were gonna grow up and go and be DEA agents, undercover narcotics, just like them. And he was the more Will Smith, and I was the Martin Lawrence character. Look at you, hello. Obviously, so shout out. So him and who else?
Who else was your influence?
Like even local. Like if
do you have any local influences?
Local influences. No, I don't want to say no, but I watch a lot of local guys that I really do like, that are really enjoyable. So I'm gonna just give you a few.
Yeah, you ain't gotta put anybody out, just because we can name a bunch of motherfuckers.
Like all time. So Martin, of course.
Right.
And I had Richard Pryor.
Yeah, there you go.
Richard Pryor, loved him. Bernie Mac and Dave Chappelle.
Of course.
And I have like Eddie Griffin.
Okay. Okay.
Eddie Griffin. And it's a lot of comics that started way back then.
Back then. That was in our era. Thank you. Appreciate it.
A lot of comics that started.
You're naming all the good ones.
But then there's one that I feel like people kind of sleep on.
Who?
And
give names.
Deion Cole.
Deion Cole is.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, I loved his last special.
Yeah,
it was real good.
It's crazy because when I first started comedy, like I had watched a lot of stuff on him, and the reason why I watched a lot of stuff on him is because, one, I found him funny, and two, we both talk slow as hell. So I watched a lot of his stuff, and I said, "There's no way I'm talking as fast as the rest of these comedians talk."
You're hilarious.
And I looked at him, and I'm like, "Yo, he talks as slow as I do."
Yeah,
I mean, not slower. So I'm like, man.
Great observation.
I mean, to be honest with you, man, when I call you on the phone, in my mind, I'll be like,
he don't know how to silence it.
Like, Justin, why don't you shut up?
Right on cue. It was right on cue. Call you on my phone.
Listen, when I call him on my phone, I'll be like, damn, I just got on the phone with Gerard Carmichael.
I like him too. He's funny.
I mean, yeah, shout out to Gerard Carmichael. I'll be like, shit, like it's only a couple of people I know personally that talk slow like that. And shout out to my aunt. She talks very slow. She called me like the phone ring, and I'll be like, oh shoot, this ain't Merlin. I'll be like, hello. I know I got to give it a minute. She'd be like, Corey. I'm like, hey, Merlin. And she talks really slow. And Mace, that used to be with Puffy. Not his rapping, but when he talked.
I'm about to say, that's my dude, too.
Yeah, Mace is cool. And, and his brother here, I mean, he's a slower talker, but it's.
I'll tell you what, his personality changes when he gets on stage.
That's what I was about to say. Like, he's a slow, like talking to him, his talking voice is slower.
Man.
But when he's on stage, it's like, who is this dude, man?
I'm like, I be forgetting he gets that bad on stage sometimes.
He
the way
gets
he be
busy.
talking. Yeah. I'm like, he's so calm.
appreciate it.
It's like somebody turned on a switch, like,
Right?
and he like, shit.
It just be a lot of things that I be, I want to say and get off my chest and stuff like that, So, like I told you, when I first started, when I first started going to open mics and stuff, I watched a lot of the local comics that I liked. Some of them embraced me, like John Bruton and stuff.
Shout out to John Bruton.
Shout out to John Bruton.
John, like I said, John Armstrong.
Shout out to John Armstrong.
Him was really
Shout out to
cool.
John Armstrong.
One guy who always embraces me and still embraces me, like I love this dude to death, is Dave Flint.
Shout out to Dave Flint.
Like I don't know.
Oh, shout out to Dave Flint.
Y'all familiar with Dave Flint?
Yo, Flint.
Very,
You coming up next?
yeah.
Call me.
Dave Flint is hilarious.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
He's one guy. He came to one show I was performing in Lakewood. It was probably like my second year
LBT?
doing comedy. No, it was I think it might have been a booked showcase or something
Okay.
like that. But he came to one show I was doing out there, and he watched me. He came up to me after the show. He said, yo, you my favorite new comic. Because he was like, I think you got it, man.
Dope.
The stuff you say on stage, he's
Yeah.
like, I think you got it, man. Ever since then, me and him have been cool because he's just been nothing but nice.
Right,
You know?
right, yeah.
And here go another thing. This is just a personal observation, Dave Flint. This is a message straight to you. I mess with your comedy. Like I said, I'm a student of the game. I look at everybody and I check out everybody. And when I was like, yo, Dave, come do my showcase, he was like, I might not be able to do it. But I want to do the podcast. Let me do the podcast. Like, yo, when you going to do the podcast? And I'm like, yo, Dave, like, come do this show. He was like, eh. But yeah, man, I'm trying to do that podcast, though. I'm like, and shout out to Dave Flint, man. I love Dave Flint.
He's particular, man. So
Yeah, shout out to Dave
you
Flint.
get him on this podcast, he'll run wild.
Okay.
He'll do your show afterwards, but he'll run wild on this podcast. Like, Dave got a lot to say.
That's what's
Shout out to
up.
Dave.
So, what made you first want to get on stage? Cause I always sit. I remember for years. I'm old getting in the game, obviously, but years I'd watch stand up. I'm like, I'd love to do that, but that's not me. I can't do that shit. I gotta work. I got kids.
Yeah.
Never was a thought until 2-3. Well, we'll say about 3 years ago, whatever the case. So, what made you want to get into this shit?
It was pretty much the same. Like, I'm a fan of comedy. I won't say I studied it as much. Like, I studied it when I started.
I mean, I don't really study it. I just watch it.
Yeah. So, like, at first, I was just, watching. I was watching because I was a big fan of comedy. I knew all my favorite comedians who I wanted to watch and everything. So, I watched that, and then I was like, you know what? I was like, I feel like I can do this, but I wasn't sure. So it was like just doing skits with my friends until I had a family and stuff like that. But then, I was 22 years old, almost 23. I had lost my job and stuff, and I'm just sitting at home. And I'm like, you know what? Now is the time. I'm like, I love comedy. I'm like, I might as well just try to give it give it a go. So I just looked around, and I didn't even know that you had to particularly start at open mics and stuff. I thought you could just walk into a club and they had sort of amateur night and you do that. So I did this workshop at the Cleveland Improv because I was out of a job. My wife was the only one working for a couple of months. I'm just at home with our child. And I'm like, I got to do something. So I contacted the people who ran the workshop. A guy named Dave Swinson runs it.
I remember Dave Swinson. Shout out to Dave Swinson.
So you, what you do is, what I did is I reached out to him, and there was only one spot left. So for that spot, or for any spot, I don't know if the price is still the same, but you have to pay $230 or something like that, somewhere around that ballpark, $230, $240, and you'll get 4 Saturdays before the show. And at 4 Saturdays, you meet at noon every Saturday. And he'll tell you about the business. He'll tell you how to structure jokes. You'll be able to get up on the stage. It'll just be you and the people that are in your workshop. Right. At that time.
Yeah.
So it'll just be you, the people in your workshop, and Dave. So you'll get up on stage and you'll say some of the jokes that you came up with. Dave will critique them. Dave will tell you, no, maybe you shouldn't say that. That's a little bit too far. Or maybe you should add this to it. And he'll do that. You'll go through that 4 Saturdays in a row and stuff, and then after the final Saturday, he'll tell you, be ready on Wednesday because you have your 5-minute set. Okay. Invite people to the show because they can get the tickets for $2. They mention your name at the box office. So with it being like 10 people in there, everybody should invite, probably like 5 to 6 people or something like that. And then you promote it or whatever. So my first show was like 200 people.
Wow. Damn, okay.
Yeah.
For you or just period?
Just period.
Okay.
Just period. I had I want to say I had like 10 people come.
Okay, shit. Dope.
10 to 12.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, so my first show was like 200 people. Now, the issue for me during that time was I was super nervous. Mm-hmm. And the final Saturday, Dave was able to hear everybody's sets that they were going to perform on Wednesday except for mine because I didn't have anything
prepared.
I didn't have anything prepared. I was nervous.
Okay.
Nothing felt funny to me, and I just wasn't sure. So he was like, "Well, Wednesday's the show. You got to be ready." So what I did is I worked on the set for
How long was the set?
It's 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
So I worked on it Sunday and Monday.
His first I was like a minute something, but go ahead.
Yeah, I worked on it Sunday and Monday, but it didn't feel funny. So the night before, like on Tuesday, I'm up writing and stuff, just going over stuff. My wife and my son, they're asleep, and I'm just up in the other room by myself, just writing till like 2 a.m.
Did you have a comb or a brush? Is your microphone?
No. No.
Okay.
It was just me sitting in the room with a notebook, and I'm just reading over it and over it and over it. So like I train myself that when you perform a set or something, or you're getting ready to perform a set, you make sure you go over it and over and over it till it's the only thing in your head.
Write it out.
Yeah, so
write
that's
it
what
out.
I did. And I wasn't good with, how some people do the bullet points and stuff.
No.
I wasn't good with the bullet points. I had to write the
word for word, baby.
Exactly, word for word. How I said
word
how I
for
feel it's
word.
gonna come out, and I did that, and I wrote it out, and I'm up, and I'm like, I hope this is good. I hope this is good. And I read over it that night. Like silently recorded on my phone, and it came out to like 4 minutes and like 30-something seconds. So I said, "This is good."
That's
enough.
perfect, really.
Yeah. So I was like, "This is good enough," and I did the show the next day. And after I got off stage, everybody in my class was surprised. They was like, wow. They was like, we didn't know you were going to be ready. Like,
right.
Man,
that's dope.
Saturday. So
yeah, shout out to that. Yeah. That's dope. Like, to me, like as an early comic, it's amazing how you could be held hostage by 5 minutes. Like for a week or 2 weeks
like
at a time.
Lifetime.
Yeah, like for 2 weeks, if you know that you're going to do 5 minutes, that 5 minutes can hold you hostage for 2 weeks.
Yes, it can.
And one time, I'm a trucker, and I recorded my sets. I was practicing over it in my head, and I thought I nailed it. I recorded it, and I'm a real silly dude. I had my set, and I'm like, yeah, I did it. I timed it just right. And for some reason, I don't know what was going on in my Apple phone, but it played back slow.
Oh,
And that
wow.
shit was like, raw, raw, raw. And I was like, this shit is funnier than my original set.
Yeah.
I was dying at that shit. But yeah, I remember those days where, well, first of all, Justin was talking about, and Pete. Shout out to Pete.
Shout out to Pete.
Rest in power, Pete.
Yeah,
for the funny
R.I.P.
stop.
Pete, man.
People used to come in the funny stop. This is what Pete used to do. Pete used to be like, "You see Steve Harvey? He started here in my club. John Henry started here in my club, and I'll be by." He'd be like, "You see Cool C?" I'm like, "Damn, here we go." Cool C. First time 2 minutes. I'm like, you gonna tell everybody this, man? Like, he did 2 minutes.
Yep, he didn't last 5. Have you ever seen Kill Tony?
No, I don't think I have.
It's on YouTube. Tony Hinchcliffe. He actually was from Youngstown. I thought he started in Youngstown, but he actually moved from Youngstown and started in L.A. I believe.
I didn't know he was an Ohio native.
Yeah. But he has a podcast, Kill Tony. It was basically an open mic. You know what I mean? It's gotten huge. He has a couple regulars on and shit, but they all were open micers, and they go out and they do a minute. And that's where you see people die a slow death in a minute. And, so 5 minutes, you know what I mean? Like you were saying, 3 minutes.
The Laugh Factory.
Yeah, Laugh Factory. We went to Helium in Buffalo.
Shout out to Helium in Buffalo.
Shout out to Helium in Buffalo, and we did 3 minutes there. Like, when we showed up, I didn't know. I thought we were going to do 5.
Yeah.
And they were like 3. And I was like, fuck.
We had to cut down our routine to like 3 minutes from 5.
I write my shit in 5 minute chunks. So you said 4:30. The first time I went on stage, I wrote for 5. You know, I mean, I was like, I'm going.
You know what
I mean?
You know, to speak on our Helium experience, I think, and I'm not being biased or anything.
We had a pretty good performance.
Yeah, we kind of rocked that shit.
Yeah, we had a
You
good
know,
performance. It was cool because we went up almost, a year? 2 years.
A year ago.
A year ago.
Yeah.
Almost a year ago. It was my dad's birthday.
Your son went.
September 7th, yeah.
Your dad's birthday.
Yep.
Your son was there.
My son, we went to, because we had to drive through Erie to get to Buffalo, so we picked my son up at my parents' house, and we went to fucking Buffalo, and we rocked it, man, for the night. We met some few people who had a open mic afterwards.
Yeah, because
Jesse.
to me, like, all right, I kind of like, my brain, I might be on, I know I'm on the spectrum, but even with warehouses, it's like when you work at warehouses,
No, 100%.
you could go to other warehouses and be like, oh shit, you Justin.
Right.
Of this warehouse though, not my warehouse, but you Justin of this warehouse.
Right.
So when we went to Buffalo, we went to this place called Milky's.
Shout out to Milky's.
Shout out to Milky's. And Milky's was Buffalo's version of LVT.
LVT
it was like
all day.
What do you call it? Like
all
what do you call a universe? It's like an alternative version of the universe.
Yeah, the multiverse.
Multiverse, but Milky's was LVT.
LVT of Lakewood.
Of Buffalo.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we went to Milky's and we did that, and then
But it was cool because we met comics at Helium, and shout once again to Cool C's special power and ability. He spoke to the one dude, and he's like, "Yeah, I got an open mic. It's over here. We're a bunch of us are going there after this show's over, and this and that. We'll get you up early so you can drive back to Cleveland."
And that's what happened.
It was dope as shit, and I'm like, this was a cool fucking trip. You know what I mean? It was overnight. Trip. It was on a Wednesday. We just drove up there and right back. You know what I'm saying?
That's how you network with comedians.
Right,
man.
right.
That's how you pretty much do things with comedians, because we are. Like when you go to other states, you're in the stage of discovering each other.
Right. Yeah.
So
See,
you discover somebody else, you're like, okay, I like this person, or I like them. I'd like to have them back. And then you try to keep them in mind, keep in touch through Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Yeah, it's dope when you can do things like that.
Speaking on that though, like you said, different people. Like a lot of problem with comedians who start out when you have a problem repeating themselves and doing the same set and doing that and this and that. But you have to keep in mind that Nobody knows who the fuck you are.
Exactly.
Nobody ain't seen your shit.
That was a major issue. That was a major issue I had. One of my biggest issues when I first started comedy was I was writing a new set for every
week.
Yes.
Which hold on.
For every show.
Wasn't terrible because you got material out of it.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
I got a lot of material out of it, but the thing is, I never developed the jokes that I wrote.
You had.
I thought, oh man, I performed this, so now I got to
do something new. Yeah.
So I'm writing new stuff for every show,
right?
And I'm stressing myself out because I'm trying to remember all
everything. Yeah.
Well, you know what, and I agree with that wholeheartedly because Justin know when I first started performing.
Yep.
I hated doing the same shit.
Hated it.
Oh yeah.
I was coming out with new shit, and it was like I just wanted to come out with new shit. But it was certain people that grounded me. Justin was one of them.
Yeah.
Justin was like, man, you got to come out with your material. You got to have your material. I'm like, F that. I used to bring props to the stage. I wore teeth. I just wanted to laugh. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted the laugh for that moment.
Yeah.
I had a lot of stuff. I was like, okay, that didn't work so well. Let me move on. Let me try something else. That didn't work. Oh, I'm going to try something else. That didn't work. I'm going to try something else. And then, with some of our guests, shout out to Joe Byers.
Shout out to Joe Byers.
Hot breath.
Have you ever heard of Hot Breath? Joe Byers?
Yeah, that's his water up there.
Yeah, right there. He has a podcast as well. Yeah, check out. He sent us that.
Yeah, he's out of Atlanta. And just imagine this. This is my version of Joe Byers, the Atlanta comedy scene. Just think about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chico being, fuck you mean, what's his name?
DC Young Fly.
DC Young Fly. Yep.
Everybody out of Atlanta.
And he's been doing it for 12 years. So he's been in all these rooms and different rooms. And he's
okay.
Many
a white boy with Lego hair.
Lego hair.
I gotta look him up.
Look him up. He's
white boy with Lego hair.
He's cool as shit, man. He's spitting game. We had him on the podcast. This
out of Atlanta.
Episode out of Atlanta. He's in Tucker, Georgia, I think, is where he's from. But yeah, he does a lot of shit around that time.
The reason why I brought him up because he was telling me, and I'm talking to myself, and I'm also tell you. I don't know if you even thought about this. I mean, I'm just saying it because to me, you're a veteran in the game. You 30, I'm 48, but in the game of comedy, you're the veteran.
Yep.
He told us like, don't try to always come up with new material. He said, don't scrap your old material. Just think of ways to critique it or
make
do
it
more
better
with it, like make it better. Like, and that's what he was saying. And Justin, Joe Byers and stuff. It's like, okay, it takes me a minute sometimes because I told you. I mean, I ain't even joking. I think I'm on the spectrum. Matter of fact, I know I'm on the spectrum. Yeah. And one of the ways that made me realize, if you didn't realize, if you have children, and if you have kids,
right.
And this is the way I always explain it to people. Like when you have a kid, and let's just say I'm red, and your significant other is blue. Mm-hmm. You could pick out all the red stuff your son is doing. Like, oh, that's me all day. I recognize that. I know that's for me. Yeah. And you could say, oh, that's your mom. That's that blue shit.
All day.
I recognize you got that from her. But that purple shit, bro. That purple shit. Yeah. You be like, what the fuck? Where you get that from? You didn't get that from me or her. That purple shit is something different. But what I'm saying is like, like learning curves and things like that. Okay, that's me, because that was me in school. I could read. Reading and comprehending is different. Right. I could read words, but me remembering stuff that I don't really, I'm not interested in, it's like going out the window. That's
yeah.
I should have been. When I was coming up, it was called LD. Learning disability. I should have been at LD because if it was, I admire the people that can read a book and take a test. That wasn't me. I can admire the people that take good notes. Yeah, that wasn't me.
Were you easily distracted though?
Easily distracted, but if you tell me something, I got in trouble and I got phone calls from school because this is a true story. People used to call my mom or my dad and be like, "Look, Cordell's looking out the window. He's not paying attention."
That's because Cordell don't give a fuck about school like most kids.
No. But here go the catcher. I can show you the message on Facebook. It was a brother that sent me a message. Like, he literally said, "How was you sleep in all the classes and aced all your tests?"
Yeah.
It was because it was like I didn't learn like reading and put a book in front of me and tell me to take a test. But if you was doing lectures and I was paying attention, I ain't have to be looking at you to be paying attention. I was doing stuff. I was the dude that was permanent graffiti on the desk.
Okay.
That was me.
You got a creative mind, and your creative mind with your memory, it helps fuel your memory. Your creative mind helps fuel your memory. So it's kind of like things that you want to hear or want to listen to, you're going to remember that all the time. But if you don't care about it, or if it's presented the wrong way, you're like, whatever, man. And that's kind of how I was. Like, I enjoyed school, but I enjoyed school because I got to be a class clown. But I also knew that I had to crack down on my stuff because my mom was going to be on my ass. So
that part.
Man, I was a third child, man. I coasted through school with B's and C's. It's like, and I brought A's. They were like, "Oh, good job." It was easy as shit. I've never brought a book home. I had 2 books. I used to take another book, leave it in my locker, leave one at home.
Yeah.
Barely needed to use it, you know what I'm saying? But it was one of those things. It was just, yeah, man.
Here go another thing that I noticed about myself, and
people
Kanye,
don't care about school.
Kanye helped me realize that, yeah, I'm on the spectrum. I know for a fact I'm on the spectrum because sound and things have taste.
Yeah,
they
no.
shouldn't.
We had that conversation.
Yeah, like music has taste and sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that ain't normal. I know that shit ain't normal.
My famous clip.
Yeah, your favorite clip. Like you like that. Oh, that sounds like pussy, but
slow music sounds like pussy to me.
But I was saying, like like a lot of Roy Ayers songs sounds like smells like incense and shit.
Yeah, that's no.
And I could go deeper into my shit, but I don't. I don't want to, but I can. But
no, that's dope.
Certain lights taste like cherry. So fuck it. Okay, I'm a weirdo. All right. Certain lights taste like
Andy
cherry.
likes feet. No, I'm kidding.
Who likes feet? I hate feet.
I'm just kidding.
I can't stand feet.
I'm just kidding.
I hate feet. Don't bring your feet near me. I don't care how fine you are.
Yeah,
fuck
totally
your
nasty.
feet.
That's right. Socks all day, bitch.
No, but okay. All right. Like, I'm going to have to say it because this guy is obviously modest as hell. He played improvs. He played hilarities. He did shows with Ha Davis. He did shows with LOL, not LOL, but
I've done shows with her. Yep. She's cool as hell.
Shout out to LOL Brielle.
Shout out to LOL. Get him notifications.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I was talking about Just Hilarious. No, not Just Hilarious?
Yeah, I did a show with her.
Okay, Just Hilarious.
2 shows. We actually did 2 shows.
Shout out, because he's not going to do it. I just want y'all to know the magnitude of comedian this guy is, because he's not going to do it. I'm going to have to do it because he's like really modest and laid back. And
one thing I want to ask you though, because you see, that's the one thing I get lost in. Like everybody, like I've never been focused on one thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm a scattered goddamn brain. You say you study. You say you study comedy. How do you? So you watch like how people structure shit. Like how do you study this shit? Because I watch it. Maybe I'm studying as I'm watching. So I'm trying to see what the same thing. You know what I mean? Because I'll give you an example of what I'm saying is because we even came out with that as far as like delivery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like eye presence. All that shit. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. So
okay.
It's a few things. So delivery, eye presence, like when you're on stage.
Like looking at people and
Yeah.
actually trying to make contact with
Exactly.
them. Yeah.
So when you're on stage, like scanning the crowd as you're telling it, you know, I got certain jokes where I point to certain people and they could be talking at that moment, you know.
Right.
I point to certain people and they'll look up and they'll be like, okay, now they're in tune with the joke. So delivery, eye presence, I learned how to walk back and forth on the stage.
Okay,
So-
yeah. Without
so-
being too busy.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I used to
so-
pace. I used to play with
Yeah.
the chord. I'm OCD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, he was big
Yeah.
on fucking this shit.
I did that my very first show. I did that, but my first few shows I would do that. So it's important that you walk back and forth on the stage. You talk to the audience and stuff, and you deliver your jokes. I also learned how to use. Well, it also depends on your style of comedy too.
Right,
So
right.
how to fill time a little bit.
Okay,
So
yeah.
sometimes after I deliver jokes, I'm silent for a second. I'm
Okay.
walking back and forth. And then I get into the next thing. Let the laughter die down. Get into the next thing. It's also, I'm not saying this is important, but what you can do, and what I've found worked for me a couple of times, is I'll watch, not full specials, but just a couple comedy clips on mute. Watch them on mute.
Okay.
And then you watch.
That's different.
Yeah. You watch how they go back and forth on the stage and how they deliver and stuff like that.
Right.
And then you can implement that into your stuff. Like, okay, going back and forth on stage.
Right.
Engaging with the audience a little bit, but not too much.
Right.
Like you do it, you pull yourself back. Some audience members may chime in and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's
And then you just go from there. So that's kind of how I studied comedy. Was just like, I was like, okay, now I gotta learn how to
present it.
present it, because
Okay.
if the presentation is right, then they're more bound to laugh.
Right.
So so I look at the delivery techniques and I look at different things, and like I watch every comedian, how they deliver things and how they do certain things, and then you're like, okay, I can implement this delivery style
Right.
or this thing into mine, and then just make sure you're like engaging with the audience. So, and I'm not even saying engaging with the audience as in talking to them, just
Right, you're
engaging
just-
with them as far as going back and forth and letting them know like, hey, I'm doing this.
Hi, I'm out
Yeah.
here.
So
Hello?
what's your theory on like crowd work? Like, do you do a lot of crowd work?
I used to do a lot of crowd work. It depends on who you are. So
Right.
if you feel like you want to do crowd work, then by all means do it.
Yeah.
Now, what works is
My-
you can involve the crowd in certain jokes that you tell, and it helps them relate more.
Right.
So I do a joke about relationships and stuff where I talk about how I don't like cuddling, and I involve both women and men in that,
Right.
because the men can relate. The men can relate to that joke.
Yeah.
Because I talk about how I don't like it. We don't know what to do with our other arm and stuff like that. When we're
Right.
holding our ladies, when we're holding our ladies, when we're going to bed and stuff. So men can relate to that because they think like, oh man, like I do
Right.
have this problem.
Yeah. We've all been there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then while I'm delivering that, I'm also giving the ladies a perspective into how men are feeling.
Right.
And stuff
Thinking,
like
yeah.
that.
Right.
So that gives the audience a chance to chime in.
Right.
And a lot of times what I get is I do get women chiming in like, oh no, you wrong for that. You should want to hold your lady.
Right.
Or you should want to do this and stuff. So I do get that. So and it's,
Have you prepared like responses because you get it so much? Because some comedians like they get like responses so many times they're able to come back like with everything like.
So I've prepared responses before, but then it's
Usually
not,
happen in the moment.
Yeah,
Everything is
it's not
different.
always the same, and then I usually get the same reaction from the women. They usually say, "Oh, you wrong,"
Right.
or I didn't know he was feeling this way or something like that.
Right.
And it's never nothing negative when you're going back and forth.
Right.
Or something like, because I don't leave, me personally, I don't believe I leave the room
Hostile.
Yeah, I don't think I leave it any room for you to say anything negative. So if we go back and forth, it's just something lighthearted and fun.
Right.
To where the women like, oh, you're an asshole. But this is funny. I like this.
Yeah.
And then the men, they're kind of like, yo, I agree with you, but
I ain't gonna say that shit.
Yeah. So that's why sometimes I'll point to the man. I'll be like, get it off your chest, man. Like we had to show, like, get it off your chest. Right. And a lot of men do. They be like, yeah, I don't be wanting to cuddle every night, like, you know. So it's kind of like that. So that's why I study comedy. I study the delivery. I study how they move back and forth on stage. Cause like, just watch your favorite comedians. Cause your favorite comedians are your favorite comedians for a reason.
Right. 100%.
So,
good shit.
So when you watch what they do on stage, you're like, oh, okay, I can use some of this. Like I said, mine is Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm not gonna be as animated as Martin.
Right.
But if you just watch his stuff and how he paces back and forth on stage and stuff, how he talks, and how he delivers to the audience and how he engages you.
Right.
Like, oh, if I use this, now it's getting people
engaged.
Now it's getting people engaged. Now people are looking up, they're listening and stuff.
Right.
And so that's kind of what I use to my advantage and just try to deliver the best I can.
Yeah. Oh, no, you do.
Yeah, like some people feel like, you know, crowd work. People do crowd work because they don't have no material.
Yeah.
It's filler, in a sense.
It's filler because you
gotta. I mean, it's gotta be in the moment. Is what I'm saying.
I feel like it's in the moment, and I feel like that's a muscle that you should work on.
It's a filler, though.
It's a filler, but it's. I don't know if it's something you gotta have, but it's something that you want to be.
It's personable.
Yeah,
you gotta want to do it though. You know what I mean?
It's something that you want to be like sharp on.
What I'm saying is, like, this is why I harp on it, because we only get, like, when we going out, we doing 5 minutes. Unless we're doing a showcase, we have time, we can stretch it. Then you can do crowd work, because you have some material. You can go out, hey, how's everybody doing? Hey, what's up? How you doing? What's up? You know, blah blah blah. But when we're doing shows, sometimes we got this much time.
Exactly.
I ain't going out there saying hi. How you? No, I'm coming out with my shit. You know, that's.
I get it.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, and I get that, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, it's like, you know, it's the difference between people being there live and watching you on TV. If you're watching on TV, you're not going to, you know. But if you're there at a show,
that's what I'm saying.
If I paid money to be at your show, I want you to look at me.
But if you're on a big stage, is what I'm saying.
Even though you're on a big stage, you know people are gonna be like saying some shit, like shouting out some stuff, or.
I mean, but if you're doing special,
that's the difference between watching you on TV and even heard comedians say sometimes, like, you know, I can hear you, right? Like I can see you. You know, I can hear you and see you.
So
go ahead.
It depends on it depends on your personality, like your personal personality,
right.
And it depends on the type of material that you want to deliver.
Right.
So Jess Hilarious, when I did the show with her, she's phenomenal at bouncing off of people. Mm-hmm. Like, she's phenomenal at that. So when she delivers her material, if somebody chimes in, because she's so good and witty at just working off of people, mm-hmm. she can make a whole show off of that if she just, if she wanted to.
Right.
So that's what's good about that, because, she could tell a joke about, I don't know, women in the club or something like that. And if a man chimes in because he feels like he wants to say something, then she can go at that man really quick, because that's her strong suit in working with people. That's like, I did the show with her, like, after we did the first show and we went into the green room, I said, I can tell that you're really good with people because it's so effortless for you to just bounce off of people from the littlest thing that they say.
Right.
And so I recognized that with her, like, really quick. I'm like, oh, okay. So no matter what you say for her, she can always have something to say.
Right.
Or she could just turn it into a joke or something. And that's like very good for her because it works for her at every show. I'm assuming I did too, but
yeah,
like I'm assuming it works. As for me, I like to do, like, I can bounce off of people, but the jokes that I tell kind of leave room for people to leave little comments, but it's not nothing like
you
real
can just
negative.
drag,
Yeah. So that we could have the little funny banter back and forth or whatever, or I could comment on something they said, but it's not nothing too crazy.
Which I always say, which is fine for the show.
Yeah.
But you're trying to build an hour special.
Yep.
So when you're on stage doing your special, and whenever you're at, you ain't gonna sit there talking to the crowd. You're gonna sit there and do your. Now you may have some jokes where you be like, hey, you know, blah blah blah, this and that, but for the most part, you're not gonna sit there and have that banter back and forth the whole show. You're doing your set. You know what I mean? You're doing your planned stuff. You know what I mean? But you trust me. I've seen people, you know, drag stuff out and have a good time.
Yeah.
But when you're filming that and you're out there on stage in front of, I mean, I ain't been in front of all these people, but in an intimate crowd, you know, yeah, you can do that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And have that banter back and forth. It's a different thing.
That's why you see some comedians have. That's what they post on social media.
Exactly,
They post their crowd work. Because their crowd work is funny enough to get people to be like, oh, let me go see this
exactly,
guy.
Exactly.
Like Andrew shows and Matt Wright. Like, they post their crowd work stuff because I've never seen neither one of them live, so I don't know how their material is. But I've
watched both their specials, and Andrew Schultz's special is good. His material is good. Matt Wright's is good, but not, you know, it's...
Yeah.
His crowd works a lot better.
Andrew shows, to me, he seems like he's super funny.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. His special is pretty good.
So when they post their crowd work stuff, it's for two reasons. It's to get people to come out and view their shows and to show you, like, hey, I'm good, I should be seen. Now that allows them to get more deals.
Oh, yeah,
that
100%.
allows them to get more deals. So that's what works out perfectly for them.
And, you know, Matt Rife just blew up because I guess he couldn't sell 100. Joe Byers, shout out to Joe Byers again, he did a video on him like couple of years ago or last year. He couldn't even sell 100 tickets apparently, and then he started posting his clips and boom, blew the fuck up.
Yeah.
And he's been doing Wildin' Out?
I think he was.
And on that shit?
What's his name?
Matt Rife?
Matt Rife, yeah. He's from Ohio.
Yeah, yeah, he's from somewhere. Like, he doesn't, like,
is that the guy that had to run in with Zendaya or something?
Yeah. Well, they say it on the thing. Yeah, he was trying to holler at her or some shit.
And he touched her face, and that was the wrong
thing. Yeah, something like that.
So I didn't know he was from Ohio.
Yeah.
He's somewhere near Columbus.
You know him?
Yeah.
No, I don't know him. It's like 30 minutes, 40 minutes from Columbus, where he's from.
Okay.
Yeah, he says it's small.
I'm familiar with him. He was on Wildin' Out for a second.
Yeah. But like I said, like, even Andrew Schultz, he was on The Man Show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've been doing this shit, like, forever. But the pandemic, he started posting a lot of his shit.
Yeah.
And I didn't start watching podcasts, like I said, until like 3 years ago. So I didn't know about fucking Joe Rogan's podcast, none of that bullshit, dude. And that's when I started, like, open mics. That's how you can get into comedy?
Yeah.
Fucking let me try it. You know what I'm saying? So and I'm glad I did, man, because we met you, dog.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Fucking the world works in mysterious ways. You know what I'm saying?
Episode of the Midnight Paco Podcast brought to you in part by the Acumen Paralegal Services. Help you help yourself the legal way. The services that they offer is they help with documents that need to be typed, guardianships, probate, divorce, wills and trust, complaints, business organization, financial planning, and legal research and writing. Go ahead and give them a call. at 216-727-0049 or 216-456-2000. Michelle White will get you right.
You know, shout out to Desmond Turner because he's
Shout out, man.
He's so laid back and humble, and you know he responded. I mean, I reach out to a lot of people, and a lot of people don't reach back.
Right.
He was one of the people that did, and you see he's here.
Always been cool from day one.
Very
man.
personable, and
Always
to
been.
me, he's like he's definitely one of the flames that Cleveland definitely has. Like, I'll put up against the world.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'll put up against the world. Like this guy is one of them. Absolutely. Hey, yo, Jay, where can they find you at, bro?
You can follow me at Justin Fuller Comedy on Instagram, people.
And I am the _great_COREE. That's where you can find me. Or you can find us both at the Midnight Paco Podcast.
What?
You know what? Shout out to all of our viewers.
All of our viewers.
Thank you for
All our
tuning
listeners.
in and subscribing and leaving comments and all that
100
stuff.
episodes.
Shout out to the old crippled bastard.
Yeah, for giving us shout outs on all of his episodes. That's
Absolutely.
dope.
Yo, Desmond, where can the people find you, man, and check you out some more?
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram at Turner House Productions, Facebook, Desmond Turner. Add me, follow me, whatever, reach out. I'll respond back, man. I'm a comedian just trying to make my way. So yeah, reach me on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Watch some of my clips and stuff. I'll be posting them on Instagram, and then, you know, let me know if you enjoy it. We'll go from there.
That's what's up.
Yo, Desmond, will you come back and see us, man?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
Thank
everybody.
you for having me.
Hey, everybody.
Thank
Make
you
sure
for
you hit the like, subscribe, notifications.
It's going to be right here.
We love every one of you. Peace out.
Midnight Paco. Midnight Paco Podcast. Midnight Paco. Midnight Paco Podcast. Midnight Paco. Midnight Paco Podcast.